Hey, welcome to 209coach.com. I want to do a video for you today on bat drag. I've been recently getting more and more emails regarding bat drag and parents asking what can I do to fix my child's bat drag. And I have other videos on bat drag, but I'm just going to kind of give it to you from a different perspective. And hopefully this video will kind of clarify the cause and effect of bat drag and what it is and why it happens. So let's get started here. Now, if you look on the left, the player on the left, I drew a circle where his hands are and then a line going down where his back elbow is, and then the player on the right, you can see that his elbow is literally way in front of his hands. Now, if I erase this right here, you can see it's pretty obvious, okay? So in other words, what you see here, this player right here, his back elbows right here is pretty much in line or slightly behind his hands, and this one right here, it's very obvious right here that is he's dragging his elbow before his bat. Okay, so it's basically he's swinging and the lead elbow is leading the swing, and that again causes a lot of things in your swing. And one of the things that it causes, and I'll just show you right here, if we look on the right, when a player does this, watch what happens. First of all, his wrists, they get very flat. When your wrists get flat, okay, the bat gets flat, okay? That's just the cause and effect. And this is something that pay attention to. If you get to this stage of the swing right here and your wrists or your knuckles are very flat, if your knuckles are flat, your bat is going to be flat. If your knuckles are vertical, okay, your bat is going to be vertical, all right? That's something to kind of FYI to pay attention to. So if we look on the right-hand side again, what happens with players who have bat drag is usually this because they don't really have a lot of pullback. Now, if you look at him right here as he gets into his toe touch right here, his pullback isn't quite that bad, but what happens to players is many times they don't maintain the pullback, okay? They don't maintain it. In other words, you have to maintain the pullback because if you don't, what happens to players that don't, they basically let the lower body take over to the point where there's no resistance, okay? There's no resistance, there's no pullback, and the lead elbow, like you see here with this player, starts to creep underneath and the bat gets very flat. Now, if you look at the player on the right now, okay, watch what's going on right now. I'm just going to draw a line right here pretty much where his bat is. The bat right now is probably about pretty close to the height of his ear. And again, both these players right now are pretty much in the same hitting position at the stage of the swing, pretty much the same. Now, if you look at the player on the left, okay, you can see it's very obvious that his bat is still over his head, okay? And again, we talked about the elbow and we talked about what's going on. Now, one thing I want to show you here on the right, just to kind of give you an idea why you don't want bat drag. When you have bat drag, what happens to players that have bat drag? First of all, like I said, there's a limited amount of resistance or pullback. Therefore, you're losing power. You're losing the ability to get bat speed behind you quickly and vary with a lot of power, okay? You start to kind of, the bat drops, okay? There's really no bat speed behind you. The hands start to drag down. When the hands or the elbow drags down, the bat drags down with you. Now watch what goes on right here. As he starts to swing, the bat is still kind of going right now and almost like in a manner like this. Okay, it's working kind of down like this. All right. And then what happens is you're going to see here, he's going to immediately make up for it. And all of a sudden he starts to swing up. So he's working, hands working down, the bat works down, and then he works up, okay? So now, as he gets to about right here, the bat starts to work up, okay? So basically what he's doing is he's leaving himself basically from here to here, almost like from here to here, where he can hit balls without having to ground out or pop up or hit a flare shot, okay? So in other words, what I'm saying here is this. In other words, if he was to get a fastball coming at him and he was late and he just happened to catch it about right here, okay? About this point right here, he'd still be hitting down on the ball because his elbows dragging through and his hands are dropping. Therefore, the bat is not working at an angle that is working upward to hit a ball with a velocity or a launch angle that's conducive to doubles, triples, and home runs. Now, can you still hit the ball doing this? Yes, you can. But what I'm trying to say is if you think about this logically, okay, you're going to be hitting a lot of balls on the ground. That's why if you watch a lot of younger players in Little League, if you watch a lot of younger players in softball, you see them that they're hitting a lot of balls in the ground. You see them hitting a lot of flare shots. Well, this is part of the reason why, because the elbow's dragging, bat drag is going right here, and then the hands are dragging down, the elbow's dragging down, the bat's going downward, and then very late it starts to work up, okay? Now, in contrast, if we look at the player on the left, now watch what's going on with him. As he starts to swing, watch what happens with him. His hands start to work around the corner of the deltoid. You can see that his knob starts to work up very quickly and early in the swing. When this happens, watch what's going on. Watch how his bat speed is already at this stage of the swing. I'm going to show you right here. At this stage of the swing, you can tell here by the blur that his bat is already way back here starting to work in an upward manner. Therefore, you can see here that he's getting a ball, getting it pretty much back here. But even if he was to get the ball even back here, he still has a chance to do something with it where he can still hit it in a launch angle that's conducive to doubles, triples, or home runs, okay? I hope that makes sense to you as far as what I'm trying to say. So in other words, because he doesn't have bat drag and he's applying and maintaining the pullback, okay, maintaining it, he's allowing that the back elbow stays behind him. Therefore, as he does this, the bat speed is going to work behind him. When you have resistance in your swing, when you have great pullback, you're going to be able to snap the bat behind you very quickly or shallow the bat behind you quickly. Therefore, you're going to be able to get this bat speed. You see that blur behind him like that? Now watch the contrast of the player on the right. Watch what happens here. Notice how his bat right here is kind of still starting to drag down. There's really no bat speed back there yet, okay? This is why bat drag is something that when I see my students have it, I start working with them. So let me show you what I do when I work with students that have bat drag, and hopefully this will give you a good kind of a drill for you to work on to help bat drag, all right? All right, so this is what I do with my students. So when I'm working with them, I basically have them set up where the hands are between the neck and the deltoid. If you watch my videos, you know that I want that as set up. Your hands can be high, low, or medium. It doesn't matter, but you just want them between the neck and the deltoid. That's going to give you a lot of flexion in the arms. And the reason you want that, that's going to allow you to use your wrists and your back elbow in a manner that's going to be very effective, in a very good manner for you to be able to start eliminating bat drag. Now watch what's going on right here. As he starts to get into his forward move, watch how the back elbow works up, back, and behind him. Up, back, and behind him. Now, what I would highly recommend for you to do is do not start any pullback. Okay, right here, he's at the apex of the gather. His bat is still vertical, and he still has a lot of flexion in the arms, okay? This is crucial. If you have a big leg kick or it's just a simple kind of a swing where you kind of stop right there, it doesn't matter as long as you do not start your pullback until you start your forward move, or you start hovering your front leg towards the pitcher, okay? So watch what's going on right here. As soon as he starts his forward move, watch how the back elbow or the pullback starts to begin, okay? So he lets the back elbow work up, back, and behind him. Now what I would do this in front of a mirror and let your back elbow work up, back, and behind you. Up, back, and behind you. Now when you get to toe touch, just stop right there, and you kind of want to have a look where you have a shoulder to elbow look. You want to have a look in the mirror when you're looking that your bat is pointing in the direction of the catcher, okay? And you want to have the line of your shoulders pointing in the direction of the second baseman. This shows me that you're getting good pullback. In other words, players that don't have this kind of an angle like this, like you see here with this player, what they do is they kind of have more of an angle like this where the shoulders and the back elbow is pointing more towards the direction of the pitcher. What else you see is players that don't have very good pullback is the shoulders are pointing more in the area of the pitcher, and the back elbow will start to drop considerably at toe touch, okay? So what you want to do to fix bat drag is just slowly and methodically work on this, okay? You really want to do this in super smooth tempo, super slow motion. Feel your top hand pulling back. And what I tell my students when I work with them, feel like your top hand is kind of spilling a cup. In other words, watch the top hand is pointing towards the pitcher. As he starts to get into his toe touch, it's very obvious now that the top hand now is pointing kind of in the direction in front of home plate. This will help you or give you a cue to give you an understanding of what you should be doing to start eliminating bat drag, okay? Again, just stop right here. Have the bat make sure it's pointing in the direction of the catcher. You want to make sure you have a shoulder to elbow look, and you also want the shoulders pointing in the direction of the second baseman if you are a right-hander. Now, once you do this, what I want you to do, just kind of master this. Again, have a vertical bat at the apex of the gather. Just work on doing this very slowly and methodically. Stop at toe touch. You should be feeling like your top hand is pulling back, like you're spilling a cup. And once you master this, as you get into that hip thrust, watch how he has like kind of the hip thrust with the torso tilt. See his hips kind of thrusting forward and his torso is kind of working backwards. Now, when you're doing this, maintain the pullback. Maintain the resistance where your top hand, you still feel like it's pulling back behind your ear. And if you do that, you're going to allow your bat to be way over your head like this, okay? Like you saw with the other player, his bat was way down here and his knuckles were not vertical. His knuckles were very flat. If you apply the pullback, if you maintain it and the resistance, your knuckles are going to be vertical, therefore your bat's going to be more vertical, or it's going to be working in a proper manner. Now, bat drag is not easy to fix. It's something that does take time, but I promise you this, if you work on this drill, if you have a child that has bat drag, just really have them do this in front of the mirror. Have the top hand work up, back, and behind them. Have that shoulder to elbow look. And the key to this drill is maintain the pullback well into the hip thrust, well into the torso tilt. This will keep your knuckles vertical. It won't flatten your bat. Therefore, your back elbow will not creep underneath your hands. It'll stay either even or behind your back elbow. All right? And then when you're doing this, just kind of get in the habit of just watching your knob, and your knob should be working. See how his knob is kind of pointing upward? Just apply the pullback, apply the resistance, and when you get to this stage, have your bat knob kind of pointing in this manner like this, okay? When you have bat drag, your bat will be pointing more in a manner pointing in this way, okay? So you really want to work where your bat, if you're applying the resistance and the pullback well, just do this slowly and methodically, and watch yourself just do this. You'll see that if you do this slowly and methodically with the pullback, maintaining it, that you will see bat blur behind you. You will see that your bat will start working in an upward manner very early in the swing. You will start eliminating the bat drag, and you'll start to be able to hit higher, more elite pitching, because the pitchers that throw at a higher elite level throw very hard and very fast. Now, if you think about this logically, if you're able to do this, like what this player's doing right here, your chances of catching up or hitting a fastball, even if you're late on it and your bat speed is back here and your bat is working in an upward manner like this, you will be able to hit more elite pitching. Now, this again takes time. Again, in a nutshell, just don't start the pullback till you start your forward move. Just let that back elbow work up, back, and behind you. Maintain the pullback. Then again, you want to maintain it well into the hip thrust, well into the torso tilt. Let your let your lead elbow work up to the height of the mouth or a little higher. Let the knob work up. Let the knob work up, not down, up. And then from here, you can just kind of just get to a full extension like this if you want. but this drill should help you tremendously. Please give me a like if you enjoyed the video. I hope you fix your bad drag. Let me know how this works for you. Thank you so much. Subscribe to my channel.